Hey there, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to share with you all just some little snippets of me sewing together one of my new favorite wardrobe staples. I've been wanting to make this little quilted jacket from these vintage quilts that I bought a couple years ago for a while. Finally got around to sewing one up. One quickly turned into a bunch. And so yeah, in this video, I'm going to share with you all what I made and how they turned out. So stay tuned. Okay, so I have several jackets, popovers, little overcoats that I want to make using these quilts that I bought on auction. I have a ton of them. For this first one, I played around with Butterick 6176, and it actually turned out really cute. So I'm just going to kind of do an overview of the sewing process. I wanted to make this reversible, so I played around with pattern placement, folded under the wrong side, for example, so that I can have that contrast on the pocket section to the sewing machine and stitching that down. I went on and serged the raw edges around the other three sides, well actually the two sides of the pocket, because I left this stitching. I wanted to see that hand stitching at the bottom of the pockets. And so yeah, I just did that really quickly, very straightforward. Then I went on, I used my iron to press under those side seams, the raw edges, serged edges now, but I went on and folded that under. And I just use pins to hold it in place until I'm ready to stitch the pockets on to the front of the jacket. And then here you see I have gotten the jacket front two pieces and the jacket back, which is cut along the fold. I got those cut out. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sew across the shoulder seam. I added on about 1/2 inch to the seam when I cut it out so that I could do a fold over like flat felled seam, since I want this jacket to be reversible if I want it to be, but mainly I didn't want to have a bunch of serged edges on the inside of the jacket. So here I'm just showing you how the seam is, a bit larger than the 5/8 seam allowance. And so this was just kind of like a test practice first one for me. And so I wasn't being, overly precise with the cutting and stuff like that. It was just kind of a test to see how it would work out. And so yeah, I got those seams pressed open, and then I folded the raw edge under so that I could stitch that down and I wouldn't have any raw edges, any serged seams on the inside of the garment. So it's pinned on the inside, but I'm actually going to do the top stitching from the outside because I want to make sure it's straight. And that's just going to be some, hefty maneuvering on my part. I'll be pulling the seams from underneath of the garment as I sew it on top. And again, I just want to make sure this stitch lines are straight from the top of the garment. That's the most important for me. And here it is all stitched. Again, this is just a tester garment, so I wasn't, as concerned with making everything super perfect. because I'm just testing to see if I like this particular pattern before I made multiples of them. All right, so now I'm actually placing the pockets onto the front pieces. I actually just draped it over my shoulders just to see where the pocket would be comfortable for me. The pattern, of course, does have a pocket placement guide, but sometimes I make like little adjustments just to make the pocket lay in a position that's more comfortable for me. So that's what I did. I'm getting it pinned down, and I will be top stitching the pockets in place, over at the sewing machine.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned where I had sometimes played chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage love. I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore. And out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, your whiskey neat, the lights were dimmed as our eyes met, moves on me. And forevermore, I like to share that vintage dream. La di la di la di di di. La di la di la di 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 di. La da 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 di. La di la di ga ki di. Skabba da bye. La di la di la di di. La di la. And I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore.
So next up, it's time to attach the sleeves. This is a really unstructured little jacket, and so very loose fitting. I'm just matching up the center point of the sleeve or the shoulder marking up against the shoulder seam where I have attached the front and back pieces together, getting that all pinned into place, matching up the front section of the sleeve, notching, as well as the back. Again, just following directions of the pattern. I really like these because, first of all, there are not a lot of pattern pieces, and you really can have a lot of fun playing around with where you're placing your pattern pieces to add contrast in different places and make it look even more patchy when you sew it together based on where you're cutting your sleeves and where you're cutting your front pieces, etc. And so yeah, it's just all pinned down, very straightforward. And now I'm going to head to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do the same thing like I did with the shoulder seam, sewing this seam closer to about 1 inch, just under 1 inch, so that I have some fabric to fold under and have a finished seam. And then here you see it on the outside. Again, I did the top stitching from the outside so that I can ensure that from the outside the seams are straight. And I got a little bit better with finagling and pulling the pins out from the inside on this one. So the inside looks a little bit better too. Now it's time to finish up the sleeve seam and the side seam. So I'm getting that all pinned into place. And that's going to just be one, long straight sewing seam that I'm going to do. Matching up the bottom, matching up the beginning point of the sleeve, and getting that stitched down the same. Then after I got that side seam finished at the machine, I just did a fold under of the neckline down through the front, a double fold over. So again, I didn't have any raw edges, and same thing with the sleeve hem. What you're seeing here next are some images of the jacket from the inside. I will be sharing another video of me wearing this, but for now, let's just have a look at these cuties. And then here is the outside. Love. So I sewed it up, as I said in the video, where it could be reversible, where you see the seams on one side. But this is the side that I made it to wear on. Let's turn around so we can see the back. Here she is from the back. Cute, cute. All right, so I'm gonna really quickly show you the other ones that I made just in a slideshow. I'll just share pictures now. And then, like I said, I'll be back with a video to share me wearing them along with some other things that I made to match, all right? So I'll see you guys back here on the channel again soon. Enjoy the photos.
A little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, wear a hat, sometimes play chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore, so hard to find, these seem impossible to score. So I dream on to someday find that vintage love. I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore. And out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, your whiskey neat, the lights were dimmed as our eyes met, moves on me. And forevermore, I like to share that vintage dream. La di la di la di di di. La di la di la di 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 di. La da 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 da. Daddy, daddy, got it. Skip it up, and I kept on looking, but everyone's such a bore. Out of a sudden, you came through the door. At the next table, your whiskey